I think that's a look of nervousness. Now, I don't know if that's nervousness that, oh my God, we're under attack, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, they actually went through with it. This is a black operation. Oh my God, I hope the American people or the world don't figure out what's really going on. All of that to me is absolute speculation. But here's what's not speculation, Mike. If we were truly under attack, obviously the president would be a major target. Now, do you know about the attempted assassination of Bush that morning? Have you ever heard that one? Basically,
no, but can I say one thing, Jason?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I think that the normal response would have been for a bunch of Secret Service to rush in, whisk him off to a limo, put him in a flying command center, red alert, whatever they do. You know what I mean? But
we're in agreement there, Mike.
He sat back with a smile.
But that's not his decision. But that's not his decision, Mike. That's my point. That's not his decision. Under regular Secret Service protocol, Andy Card should not even have went in there to talk to him. He should have just, like you said, grabbed him, said, sorry, we have to end this. The United States is under attack. Now, of course, they've made the excuse, well, we didn't want to alarm everybody. But yes, that would have been the correct protocol. That was the Secret Service protocol that day, and it didn't happen. But I think that's more on Andy Card and the shadow government's level than George H.W. Bush. He just doesn't seem to me as a guy they would go to in the planning, as a guy they would trust to keep a secret. I don't know if they actually tried to kill him the morning of 9/11, but two guys did come up to the school that morning, said they had an interview with Bush, and the same scenario had happened the day before, and they had killed a world leader. So, again, I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one. I do not think there's no doubt in my mind that Bush knew somewhat after the fact that, this story wasn't the real one. But even on the level of, I don't know if the guy even realized it's an inside job to this day. He's so isolated. He's a guy who wanted to be the head of the Major League Baseball. He had no desire to get into politics. His father forced him into politics after his other son, Neil Bush, got caught in that huge SEC scandal. So he had to parlay into Jeb and GW as the new spokesman for the family. So you may be right and I may be wrong. There's really no way to tell. But from the research that I've done, I don't believe Bush had any knowledge of 9/11 or helped in the planning of 9/11 beforehand. I do think that along the way, some things got wind, and he did obviously help with the cover-up, but we'll never know because Bush and Cheney testified not under oath together before the 9/11 Commission, and no records were kept of what they said. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Skip in California. Skip, you're on the line.
Hey, first I'm going to say Invisible Empire is probably the best Patriot documentary I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, that was trying to kind of do the point. Not only trying to get the best, I guess, Patriot or conspiracy documentary out there, but something that looked like nothing else on the market and something that would look better than anything that the History Channel could put out. So those were my goals in getting that film out there.
Nice. I had 3 quick points I wanted to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
One is I guess there was a CFR guy being interviewed by Chris Matthews, I think, last week, where he said, "Oh, I have the definition of the word sedition." You know the clip I'm talking about?
No. Please tell us about it.
Well, it was on Infowarrior last week. They had some guy from the CFR, some kind of like press journalist or something, and I think it was on Chris Matthews. And basically they were talking about the Tea Parties, and he says, "Oh, I did a little research before I came out here." And then he goes over the definition of the word sedition, which was something to the effect of basically trying to convince people that they should overthrow the government, something along those lines. I forget the exact wording.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if that guy were to say that and I was on that show, or if this issue gets brought up again, which I'm sure it will, I would say, yes, I agree. What sedition is with this Constitution, the supreme law, with this country, the supreme law of the land is the Constitution, which means in terms of things like the Bill of Rights, where you have free speech and the right to bear arms, and you can't force or you can't make people quarter military in your home, for example. Anyone that tries to deviate from those rights that were guaranteed is indeed committing sedition. So technically he's right, but he's pointing in the wrong direction.
Yes, he's reversing on what it actually is. In fact, the states have a right to secede from the federal government when it becomes too tyrannical, when it gets too far away from the constitutional republic we once were. And we are at the point where we are no longer a constitutional republic, Skip. Unfortunately, we don't have checks and balances. The three branches of government, the judicial, executive, and legislative, do nothing to keep up those checks and balances, to check on one another, and we live in a national security state.
Unfortunately so. I had a suggestion, maybe not for you, but anyone out there listening that might want to do this. If there were a documentary come out as a media textbook, Media 101 textbook, which basically made it so Alex has great discernment. He can look at what's getting reported on the news, and he can tell instantaneously how the manipulation is being used, what the agenda is there. Now, basically, a lot of people that are waking up are becoming aware of what's going on, don't necessarily have that type of a discernment. So if basically there was some kind of documentary that came out that broke down what their textbook would be in terms of how to deceive people, how to manipulate them, using the
well, that would be a good idea for a documentary, showing the mainstream media and then breaking down what they're really telling you and what this means for you, or going through mainline news articles. But I suggest people just go and check Edward Bernays' book out, Propaganda. This is the father of public relations. He lays out the case for an invisible government, a ruling class that manipulates the minds of men in the manner that you're discussing, even today with more modern tools. We're going to come back to Herman, Jason, Steve, Chuck, and others. 888-201-2244. It's the Infowarrior. All right, we are back. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Burris. We're going to continue to take your calls in just a moment, but I wanted to highlight this story. Secret U.S. spaceship launch masks even more secret launch. Huh? That's right, folks. The NASA program is there to cloak the real space program. It's there to cloak actual technology. It's to have these black sites where we don't know what's going on. We don't know the real propulsion and weapon systems that are out there. We have no clue. We are compartmentalized on a level we cannot even imagine. Somewhere above the Earth is America's latest spaceship, a 30-foot craft so classified that the Pentagon will not divulge its mission nor how much it costs to build. But the real classified project is even more secret. Somewhere above Earth is America's latest spaceship. Oh, why is it these things just keep doubling over? It's so weird. According to the Associated Press, a rocket carried an experimental hypersonic glider able to travel more than 4,000 miles in 30 minutes, blasted off over the Pacific Ocean around the same time as the X-37B, the 30th Space Wing. A Vandenberg Air Force Base acknowledged that the glider took off Thursday afternoon from the Central California coast, but the Air Force statement does not reveal the result of the test involving the Falcon Hypersonic Technology Vehicle 2. A fact sheet from the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency says the vehicle was to be accelerated into the upper atmosphere, separate from its booster, and glide across the Pacific at 13,000 miles per hour. So this shows you, again, the government is not being straight with you. They give you snippets, bits, and pieces in order to distract you from the true agenda and the real programs that are out there.